Rest in peace, dear Sarah. Beat remake. Dear Sarah, I miss you and I love you. Don't know how I'm gonna go without you, cause I need you for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. This Sarah, it's me and I'm missing you bad. And I can't believe you're gone, cause it got my heart torn. I will give you mine in a minute, so your life could be long. As I see you wondering why while I cry, cause a part of me inside was once alive and star. I will give up all my dreams and everything that I ever wanted to have you by my side, so you can have life once again. I just can't secure a bed to see you buried in the cemetery, cause I wish this was all a dream that just came out of nowhere, so I could pick up the cell phone and call you, cause I know you would be there. And if you didn't answer my call, then I know you would be working or in your bed sleeping with beautiful dreams, not laying in the dirt where you're not alive and breathing, because I just wanna see you blink twice or once a month for you to see my face and know that I will always love you and will forever believe it. Sarah, you're my little sister, my little sister. Sarah, I miss you and I love you. Don't know how I'm gonna go on without you, cause I need you for the rest of my life, for the rest of my life, for the rest of my life. Dear Sarah, I miss you and I love you. Don't know how I'm gonna go on without you, cause I need you for the rest of my life, for the rest of my life, for the rest of my life. You're close to me like blood that is thicker than water, cause I will go to war for you, lay it all on the line for you, cause I mean what I'm saying and I'm not playing, cause in the very bottom of my heart, and that means you will always live on in me, cause you won't ever be forgotten, so you best believe it, you'll be toasted to every drink that I take. Wish you could hear me rhyming to see what I'm writing to you, because this poetry's really deep as it gets, cause without you Sarah, life is a bitch, and I'm holding on the very best that I can. Can't forget all the great memories we had when we were kids, cause now we're all adults. Just can't believe this is the end and it's over. Got me shedding tears, cause it's hard when you have to say goodbye, and when I know this is it for the rest of my life, because I will see you in my dreams, cause we're family members forever, cause we always were together and we will be together, little sister, forever. Dear Sarah, I miss you and I love you. To know how I'm gonna go on without you, cause I need you for the rest of my life, for the rest of my life. Dear Sarah, I miss you and I love you. Don't know how I'm gonna go on without you, cause I need you for the rest of my life, for the rest of my life. But when I wake up to open my eyes, I realize I just wanna go back to sleep, cause you little Sarah that I will see every time. Did you know you're a soldier? Best believe it, you held a heart of a lion, cause every minute you were fighting that cancer for all of those years. Only strongest can survive and fight it through all the pain and the rain and make it happen, cause you succeeded in battle and it by every step you took. Now, look at you now, you made it to the top of the highest mountain. It's about you and every verse that I spit, cause you're the goal and the only brightest star in the sky, cause you 95 of others. You the longest shooting comet out of them all. You're above the rest, cause you're the best, cause the rest of them they get stomped in a second, cause you're an angel that was sent down from heaven above, cause a woman like you is a blessing. Since that beautiful day you was born, your legacy through you all will ever live on. Sarah, I miss you and I love you. Don't know how I'm gonna go on without you, cause I need you for the rest of my life, for the rest of my life. Sarah, I miss you and I love you. Don't know how I'm going on without you, cause I need you, I really need you for the rest of my life, for the rest of my life. Believe it, girl, you were always the bomb, with a heart made out of 1,000 diamonds, because when you first opened your eyes, no one knew how platinum you really were until you grew into a beautiful girl, the purest quality in the world, the most in or out of them all in the world, the most beautiful and lovely, like a mix of diamonds with sparkly pearls. You were and will always be the light from the sun, the bright in the darkest days from the sun by the hour. That's what I meant for the hour, and your red rose flower, and I will always miss you. Your brother Steve will never forget you, and out of all women you were my best friend, cause you never done me wrong like them. Rest in peace, Sarah, I'll be there with you until my time ends. Bye for now, I'll see you at the crossroads, love you for eternity. Dear Sarah, I miss you and I love you. Don't know how I'm gonna go on without you, cause I need you, I really need you for the rest of my life, for the rest of my life. Real talk right here. Please give me thumbs up and give me some good comments. Do this for my little sister up in heaven. She was a great girl. If you knew her like I did, you love her too. Just imagine if it was one of your loved ones or your family members. How would you want me to respond to this video? Real talk. Show love, people. Seriously, honestly, show some love to this song. Once you start crying, and if you do, Yeah, you'll feel it. Peace out, Stephen Brooks. Much love to everyone. Real talk. Holla.